is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
.45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Lal Mallavarachi and read by J. Yogaraj. First, the headlines. The travel restrictions will be lifted at 4 a.m. on Monday. However, other restrictions including inter-provincial travel ban will continue. The President instructs officials to order sufficient vaccine stocks for third dose if necessary. The total number of COVID-19 cases confirmed in the country thus far surpasses 216,000. The National Kidney Hospital in Polonnaruwa will be open to the public today. A volunteer force will be set up to control the pandemic. And those are the headlines. Army Commander General Shavendra Silva yesterday confirmed that the travel restrictions imposed to control COVID-19 will be lifted at 4 a.m. on Monday, the 14th of June. The Army Commander said no decision has been taken yet to extend the travel restrictions beyond June 14th. General Shavendra Silva, however, said that despite the removal of travel restrictions throughout the country, other restrictions, including inter-provincial travel restrictions, will continue to be enforced, and a final decision will be taken today after discussing the restrictions. The decision to lift travel restrictions was taken after discussion with medical experts and officials in the relevant departments. The island-wide travel restrictions were imposed on May 21st to control the spread of the COVID-19 third wave. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has instructed officials to order necessary COVID vaccine stocks immediately if a third dose is also required, taking the ongoing global situation into account and based on the recommendations by the medical experts. A number of leading countries have already ordered vaccines for the third dose. The President highlighted the importance of paying attention to this development and preparing Sri Lanka as well for the third dose. A huge demand for vaccines is evident across the globe. President Rajapaksa said that he discussed with the leaders of a number of nations and requested their assistance to acquire stocks of vaccines for Sri Lanka amidst this competitiveness. Accordingly, the President emphasized the need to provide vaccines obtained with much difficulty in a transparent and organized manner. During a discussion held with the Special Committee on COVID-19 Prevention at the Presidential Secretariat yesterday, the President pointed out the need to vaccinate all individuals over 60 years of age and close associates of COVID-19 infected, since a large number of vaccines have been received. President Rajapaksa instructed the officials to take necessary steps for the simultaneous vaccination of the patients who suffer from non-communicable diseases as well. The President stated that vaccination is the answer for both containing the COVID-19 pandemic and minimizing the infected reaching the fatal stages of the virus. This news comes to you from Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Scan the Lanka QR code and make your payments with People's Pay mobile payment app from People's Bank.
The Ministry of Health says that another 2,715 persons have tested positive for coronavirus yesterday. A total of 216,134 confirmed cases of the coronavirus have been reported in Sri Lanka so far, while 31,986 patients are currently under medical care. Total number of COVID-19 recoveries stands at 182,238. The National Nephrology Hospital in Polonnaruwa, which is being constructed with the Chinese assistance, will be open to the public today. The National Kidney Hospital, being built at a cost of 12 billion rupees, is a total gift from the government of China. The Chinese government is sponsoring the entire project following a request made by the former President Maithripala Sirisena. The 200-bed hospital is equipped with all modern facilities to treat kidney disease. A 100-bed dialysis unit has also been established within the hospital. It has an outpatient treatment department with all modern facilities. There are 6 modern surgical theatres needed for the kidney transplant and an outpatients and specialized kidney patients clinic complex. There is also a modern auditorium with a 200 seating capacity and a car park which can accommodate 300 vehicles. Minister of Environment Mahinda Amaraveera says the damage to the environment caused by the burning of Express Pearl container ship will last for another 20 years and it would not be calculated in dollars. Addressing a media briefing held at the Ministry of Environment yesterday, Minister Amaraveera said he obtained a list of goods shipped in the Singapore-registered cargo ship that caught fire on May 20th while anchored in the seas 9.5 nautical miles northwest of Colombo Harbour and burned for 13 days before sinking partially. The ship has carried 193 items in about 1,486 containers, including 25 tons of nitric acid. It also contained a large number of containers containing plastic pellets used as raw materials to manufacture plastic products. The containers add 2-month supply of plastic pellets for 2 of Sri Lanka's leading companies. According to the minister, there are 8 major companies that manufacture plastic and polythene-related products in Sri Lanka. The government says that state and private banks island-wide will be open today as well as for the payment of pensions. In addition, post offices have also been instructed to remain open till tomorrow. Persons who travel to obtain the pension allowances may use their pension identity card as a travel pass. Meanwhile, the government has arranged free transport services for pensioners who cannot arrange their own transport method. And that's local news.
Nobody tells time like this. So why do you still pay with cash when you have People's Pay mobile app from People's Bank? Scan the Lanka QR code and make your payments with People's Pay mobile payment app from People's Bank.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
A volunteer force will be set up to control the pandemic. Individuals and officials who are not directly involved in controlling the disease will be considered for this purpose. The Ministry of Health says that a large number of state and private sector employees have expressed their willingness to join this force, and they are able to get them registered via the Health Ministry website. And that came to you in main news.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
In Washlight, in the midst of a COVID-19 outbreak in Sri Lanka, the health authorities warned of a notable spike in dengue cases in the coming weeks due to the flood situation following torrential downpour. National Dengue Control Unit Director Dr. Aruna Jayasekara says that Colombo district was at a higher risk compared to others, as 1/3 of cases are reported from Colombo district. And that came to you in Washlight. And moving on to world news, UN aid chief says that there is a famine in Ethiopia. US and UK leaders will meet today for the first time face to face. UK hardest hit by virus among leading G7 nations. And those are the headlines of the world news. UN humanitarian chief Mark Lowcock has said there is a famine in northern Ethiopia after the release of a UN-backed analysis of the situation. There's famine now, he said, adding this is going to get a lot worse. The analysis found that 350,000 people are living in severe crisis in the war-torn Tigray region as well as neighboring Ankara and suburbs. US President Joe Biden is in UK for talks with the Prime Minister Boris Johnson on the eve of the G7 summit in Cornwall. It is the first time the two leaders have met face-to-face. They will discuss transatlantic travel and a new Atlantic Charter aimed at refreshing the so-called special relationship. The President is also expected to tell Boris Johnson the EU-UK row over post-Brexit trading in Northern Ireland must not affect the peace process. The US was worst hit by the pandemic in the G7 big Western democracies over the first year of the COVID-19, according to an updated study of excess death figures. The analysis done for the BBC by the Health Foundation comes on the eve of a G7 summit in Cornwall. It measures deaths above expected levels for a normal year. Last year, an earlier BBC study showed that at what point the UK had been hardest hit. Overall, UK outcomes are now second worst in the G7. And that's world news. And in development news, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has entrusted the implementation of the proposed Anuradhapura Integrated Urban Development Project to the Urban Development Authority to expedite the work. Recently, North Central Governor Mahipala Herath pointed out in a meeting the slow pace of construction of the project, for which the French Agency for the Development, AFD, provides financial assistance worth 10,000 million rupees with a government investment of 2,040 million rupees. It was learnt that for a period of nearly 3 years since the project's inauguration in 2017, no major construction work has commenced except for providing residential facilities and the payment of the salaries and other remunerations for the consultants, etc. And that's development news. And in sports, the Australian city Brisbane has moved a step closer to being named the host city for the 2032 Olympic Games. Brisbane was named the preferred bidder in February and has now been proposed as host by International Olympic Committee IOC Executive Board. And that's sports news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Steps are being taken to regulate food delivery services operating in Sri Lanka, including popular mobile app-based services Uber and PickMe. And the move comes after concerns were raised over hidden costs associated with some of the items delivered to consumers. A meeting had been held between Consumer Affairs State Minister Lasantha Alagiyawanna and food outlets, including hotels, to discuss concerns over added costs when their items are delivered. And that was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
The 2021 Invest Sri Lanka Forum, organized by the Board of Investment, the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce and the Colombo Stock Exchange, which commenced on Monday, 7th June, concluded successfully last Wednesday. Asia's first ever virtual investment forum was held with foreign participation of 2,200 from 85 countries and 2,500 local participants. And that was economic news.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
The Wind Department says several spells of showers will occur in western, Sabarkamo, central and northwestern provinces and in Galle and Mathura districts. Wind speed will be 30 to 40 kilometers per hour in western slope of the Central Hills, northern, north central and northwestern provinces, and in Hambantota and Trincomalee districts, and wind speed can increase or can be increased up to 50 kilometers per hour at times in these areas. And that was weather report.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
Before we wind up this news broadcast, let's look at the main points once again. The travel restrictions will be lifted at 4 a.m. on Monday. However, other restrictions, including inter-provincial travel ban, will continue. The President instructs officials to order sufficient vaccine stocks for third dose if necessary. The total number of COVID-19 cases confirmed in the country thus far surpasses 216,000. The National Kidney Hospital in Polonnaruwa will be open to the public today. A volunteer force will be set up to control the pandemic. And with that, we conclude this morning news broadcast of Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.